everyone. It's Jay here at Edmonton Comics, part of West Edmonton Coin and Stamp and West Edmonton Mall, coming to you live, well, live for me, probably recorded for you, with another episode here talking about comics. And what we're going to talk about today is grading. And it's a pretty exciting day today. I actually even brought in one of my treasures from my collection here, Brave and the Bold 28, which is the first appearance of the Justice League of America. It's actually not as impressive as you might think, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that later on during this episode. But what I would like to do right now is introduce our guest. Yes, we have a guest today. You've seen all my other crappy videos, and today we're up in the game with a guest and a celebrity guest on top of that. For those of you from the Edmonton area, you already know him, or maybe you think you know him because you've been told you know him, but you're not really 100% sure. I would like to introduce everyone to hypnotist extraordinaire, Mr. Wayne Lee. Come on up, Wayne.
Hey, Jay.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. Great to be here. Great to be
First question I gotta ask you, related to Stan?
No.
Oh.
I wish.
Can I get a new guest? New guest? No? Okay, we'll work with you anyway.
You know, although Bruce was like an idol of mine.
Oh, that's good. It's good to have that tangible connection.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you got some books that you'd like to share with everybody here and have me take a look at?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been
Awesome.
collecting for years, and I never forget my dad taking me into a comic store. Forget which one it was, but that smell of the paper and the imprint, and now, you know, and I think that's what kicked it off for me, looking at those comics and getting that sense of wow. And that's the best way I can describe it. And then that just stuck with me. So along the way, collected a number of different comics, and then throughout the 80s and the 90s. And so I got some key ones that I'm real proud of, and want to see what they're all about.
When you're collecting now, are you collecting kind of like just key pieces that just give you certain memories, or are you building runs or collecting certain characters? Like, what's your collection focused around?
You know, now I've stopped collecting. I just, you know, kind of taken a lot more of an interest. Like, I got my younger kids, and I would like to maybe pass that on to them, and just seeing what I have. So like the 3,000, 4,000 comics that I have, there's some real key issues in there, and some of the things that stand out are like, I'll never forget the artwork of, I forget who it was, but now looking back, I look and going, oh yeah, Jack Kirby. So his stuff it just resonates with me. So like stuff that I'm bringing in, like Avengers, the first few editions of Avengers, and even on the DC side, I noticed that I was really drawn to the Jack Kirby. And I don't know if that was like, didn't have this intention to collect Jack Kirby, but it was just stuff that I'd seen, and also stuff that I think back before it even blew up, like Avengers and that, I was just drawn to. Yeah. So, and luckily it blew up a bit. Nice. Yeah.
No, it's the best of both worlds. Something you love that actually kind of gives you a little payback down the road.
Exactly.
All right, let's take a look at some of these books. You want to come around here, Wayne, and we'll get them going. Our first one off the top of the stack here. Let's set them down here nice and flat, and we'll go. We have an Avengers #1. It's the first appearance of the Avengers forming as a team. Now, many of the characters had already existed beforehand, so their first appearances are not in this book, but is the first appearance of bringing them all together as a team, which is a pretty cool book. Now, were you fans of like the individual characters, or is just the Avengers? Because like I'm a team book guy myself, like Justice League, Teen Titans, that sort of thing. You know, is it the team concept, or was it the individuals that you were kind of drawn to?
I think the individuals, and actually when I picked this up, it was already, I think, a fairly collectible book.
Yeah.
So I was into, oh wow, this is a really nice issue. It's Avengers, but again, it was before the brand blew up.
Right.
So at that point, it wasn't like I was a little kid, just hey, to get a book like that, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be pretty fortunate. So that I was drawn to those reasons, but like I would say the one that like stood out just because I think before that I'd collected Iron Man, so it was a whole gamut. Like there's so many great characters in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This copy is really fantastic. There's a lot of great strong color here, especially the red. Red is one of those colors that tends to fade a lot over time with comics, especially comics from that time period. So when you've got some nice, bright, intense red, you're already looking at a book that's really, really good grade, very high quality. What else we got in there, Wayne?
Well, also I came across a bunch of Batman. It's about the same time that I picked up this collection.
Right.
And when I went back, I looked at a few things like just around the number 100 and up, and all these comics that were there. I was like, wow, those are old comics. Those are cool. But then I looked at the actual significance of that comic, and you can tell us, you know, like it's the first appearance.
Yeah.
Of
So cool. First appearance of Mr. Freeze. Now, another cool thing tying into the color from the Avengers thing here, white is another color that is really, really difficult to maintain with comic books over time. It gets dirty very, very easily. So when you find, again, a cover that has good, strong, solid, clean white on it, it's going to be in high demand. It's going to grade very, very high. The eye is going to get attracted to it, and that's what people are really kind of interested in. You know, it's going to give you more value if you try to sell this book down the road, assuming you want to sell it. There's probably a lot of close to the heart stuff here. Right?
It is, and I guess, you know, there's that old saying, money talks too, right?
It absolutely does. So. There was a gentleman in here just a little while ago as I had one of my books on display, and he's like, how much do you want for it? I'm like, I don't want to sell this. He's like, I'll pay for it right now. And I'm like, no. I was like, I just got it.
And that shows you like how much values there, not just in a money, but like in an experience, aesthetic way of what it means to somebody, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, and this one's I think a real key issue.
It is
Avengers
super
4.
key. Yeah, Avengers number 4. So it is the return of Captain America to the Marvel Universe. He had been kind of off the grid for a little bit there, and the Avengers were just kind of out traipsing around Antarctica, and there's like, hey, there looks like there's a body in that block of ice. Let's see what's there. And it turns out it's Captain America. What are the odds? Hey, like, I don't know how many times you've been around the Arctic and just kind of like checking stuff out, but you know, it's,
not much.
You know, I don't. If you ever find a body floating in a block of ice, you might want to thaw him out. Could be somebody important. This cover, again, would normally be a very, very strong white cover as well, but we can see it is a little bit yellowed. Not kind of damaging so, and I don't think it was as pure white originally as the Batman book was. Personally, I don't think I've ever seen like a solid white for Avengers 4, but this one does tend to have a little bit of a yellowing to it. Not much, but the rest of the book actually looks fantastic. Nice, sharp, crisp edges, a good spine. A lot of other little key points that we'll talk about a little bit later on in the interview here. So let's check out
see a few more.
Let's check out another one. Let's see.
So
what
I think
else
this is the second appearance of.
I'm gonna lay my one down here.
Yeah, for sure. Tales of Suspense.
Tales of Suspense. Here is an Iron Man who is clearly not made of iron because he's gold. So, but they didn't change his name to Goldman, which would have made it a completely different comic book, I'm sure, if it was.
Changed history, probably.
Probably would have changed history, absolutely. But a fantastic looking book here, Tales of Suspense number 41. And again, key Iron Man book. Just a really, really kind of solid book again. But now we are actually kind of getting into some other kind of condition things that really start to lower the value of a book. And we have what's kind of called chipping along this open side edge. The cover is kind of chipped away, just afraid. It's dried out, it'll crumble, it'll chip away. You've got it nicely preserved, sealed in a bag and board, and then put inside of a top loader on top of that. And we can talk about preservation of your books another day, because this interview might run long. But overall, this book is still really good because the spine is fantastic, your tops and bottoms are really good. It's just that chipping away at the edges there that'll, for some collectors, they'll kind of be turned off by that. But there are other people who's going to go, this book still looks fantastic, presents really, really well. Obviously, it presents well for you because you still have it. You haven't bought, I need a better copy. I'm going to sell it and get a better copy. No, this is staying the way it is. It looks fantastic. It's a really, really great book. All right.
Question for you, Jay. With regards to the chipping, is that something that was common with some of the Silver Age?
It really depends. A lot of that is all about condition, of where they're stored, how they're stored, temperature, sunlight, all sorts of things can affect and cause that chipping to happen. And you'll find copies of books that are absolutely perfect and no flakes on them whatsoever. And then I bought a collection not too long ago, and when I pulled the stack out of the box, there was just a snowstorm of paper that just came out all over the place. So it does tend to change. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these books and some of the others and give you some tips about grading. And we're just going to kind of take a little break here and then we'll come right back.